Hi all, welcome to week 8 of the pregnancy. I'm technically 8.5 weeks. It took a few days to get to this recording because I've been feeling just really lousy. This week, week 8, well week 7 to 8, has been really just a process of humbling and slowing myself down and just really accepting the reality that there's not much I can do these days. I feel lousy, I feel not good, and there's nothing really for me to do. So my activity level has substantially lowered. I've been spending a lot of time on the couch. I've been spending a lot of time watching movies. I've been, kind of not feeling my best. Definitely not feeling my best. So not the most pleasant of experiences. My morning sickness is actually an evening experience or sickness. Generally, the experience of nausea is constant. It's from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. Though in the mornings it's very mild. Even though I experience it, it's not as influential as it is later in the day. It's interesting because it's really as I eat, the feeling gets worse. So it's by the end of the evening, I'm just lying vertical on the couch, just kind of, just in a lot of uncomfortable experiences. I'm lucky I haven't had any upchuck yet, so it's not as bad as some women have it, I know, and so I'm very grateful for that, though this experience has definitely knocked me on my butt. I also haven't been eating the best. I think the first few weeks of this experience kind of startled me. I didn't anticipate it. I didn't expect it. Although I hear about women who have nausea in the first trimester, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea what my experience would be like. And so it kind of shocked me. And I think that I looked for food for comfort because I had such aversion. Anything that sounded good to me, I wanted to indulge in because there was very little things that I did want to eat. But I found that what I did want to eat was maybe not the best food for me. So I kind of have been overindulging, and I don't think that that's been helping my physical experience very much. So today actually I made a point to redirect myself in terms of becoming a little bit more aware of my food choices and to make better decisions around what I know is going to support my body. So cutting back on the carbs a little bit, cutting back on the refined sugar, cutting back on the pastas, and just, trying to stick to more whole foods, less processed stuff. Because this is the thing, I have aversion to food. Once I eat it though, and this has been my experience anyway, I have the aversions to certain foods, and anything that I could potentially eat that's not completely revolting to me, once I eat it, it's delightful, it's divine, it's incredible, it tastes really good. So I'm starting to think that I can trick myself into getting better foods into my system by just making myself eat it, because I might have an aversion to it initially, but actually once I drink it or eat it, it's gonna taste better. I was just thinking the reason I said drink it there was because coffee doesn't sound good to me. It never smells good, it doesn't look good, the thought of it is really not good, but I've always loved coffee. I don't not want coffee. So I have still my 1 cup of coffee a day in the morning, and it's delightful. As soon as I start drinking it, it's incredible. It tastes so good. It's just the whole preparation of it is like, oh, to me. So I'm starting to think that I'm just playing tricks on myself a little bit, where I think I don't like a lot of things, but if I actually just eat it, it will be okay. So so today is a new day, and I've kind of redirected myself with the foods that I'm eating. So I'm not eating just for, well, I think part of it was comfort too. I was eating for comfort. I was like, I almost was reacting to my physical experience. Because it completely threw me off track. I'm no longer living the same routine I was living. Things have changed. I have to do things differently now. And so I think that I was in a way reacting and looking for food for comfort. I mean, really, it's been all about food for the last 3 weeks because my physical body has been such at the forefront in terms of what I experience that I have to navigate through food and just deciding on what I'm gonna eat and when. It's been tricky. So I think that there was a little bit of emotional eating happening where I was looking for food for comfort because my physical experience was so kind of coming out of nowhere. I didn't expect it, and it's definitely just a learning experience. It's just figuring out who the hell am I in this whole thing. and I haven't made the best choices, and I'm going to now make better choices because I just think overall it's actually going to help my physical experience by eating better foods also. I'm a firm believer that our mental and emotional and physical states have a lot to do with the food that we consume. Yeah, I'm just making it a point now to be a little bit more aware of my choices, to make sure that I'm taking into account my physical body, and is this going to actually support me as my physical body, as what it's going through, and my developing baby, or is this just going to help my mental, emotional state that's like looking for comfort, that's looking for soothing. Instead of making decisions that are going to be good for me now in this moment to deal with something, I'm going to make choices that I hope in the long run are going to help support me physically in the long run, like I said. So that's been an interesting point, just kind of navigating and seeing who I am in relation to my food choices and seeing how that's affecting myself physically. The next point I wanted to share was actually in relation to my vlog that I posted last week. It was really interesting. So the moment I posted that vlog, the next day I had such a big fear come up that now that I've announced the pregnancy, because it's still so early in my first trimester, that I was going to have a miscarriage. It was so fascinating. I mean, despite the work that I've done with it, with self-forgiveness and facing these fears and seeing that it's kind of irrational for me to have the worry that I did, a lot of it was based on my past experience, I still had that fear. It was like, as soon as I published, it's like, oh, okay, for sure now I'm going to have a miscarriage because I've announced it. So it's almost like it just exposed this superstition around pregnancy, around miscarriage, you know, and I've seen it in people's comments and their sharings with me. It's like there is this point of, if you announce it too early, it's going to somehow compromise the pregnancy. Somehow announcing the pregnancy early is going to lead to miscarriage. I don't know if people actually equate that in their mind, but it's like a superstition. It's like, you know, which is interesting because I don't get worried when I see a black cat, or I don't worry if I walk under a ladder, or I don't avoid cracks in the sidewalk so I don't break my mom's back. Like, there's these superstitions in reality that I know that are silly and don't make sense, and yet I participate in this one about miscarriage where I can't speak about it too soon, because the minute I speak about it, I'm gonna lose it. And I just think that's interesting because what it exposes for me is I don't really understand how reality works. I don't really know the mechanics of how this world works. And I think in general it exposes the whole world that, you know, we believe in these superstitions and we think that if we say this, then this is gonna create that, when we don't realize maybe who we are plays a role, maybe our generational line plays a role, maybe our environment, maybe our family, maybe, you know, it's like we don't really understand how this reality works or how we create in this reality. I can see how in my belief that because I then published and announced the pregnancy at an early stage, that means I'm gonna have a miscarriage. I realized that that's silly thinking. That's not a commonsensical way to think. That it seems like that doesn't really quite equate. It doesn't really quite add up. So I wanted to share that because I just thought that was really interesting. Despite my understanding that the fear I was experiencing was based on the past, I still had this point come up within me of, I've announced it and now I'm gonna lose this pregnancy. From my perspective, it's just something I'm gonna have to walk through. I've done it, I've announced it. What happens, what will happen, and I am prepared to deal with it as it comes, good or bad. But I think ultimately it's almost like it's a deeply ingrained idea. It's like a deeply ingrained fear that generations have participated in. And so I just have to ultimately walk through this experience. So that's the 8-week update. We go for our dating ultrasound 2 days from now, so we're really looking forward to that. Oh, a couple things too I noticed this last week is my dreams have been very vivid. I had a theme this week. I had 3 different dreams. 3 nights in a row I had this dream around houses and land. So like one of the dreams was we were moving to this house that was surrounded by this lush land, and it was like in the epicenter of the city, but the city was like on the outskirts of this land that was surrounding this house. Another one was like on the ocean. It was really cool, just like 3 nights in a row of house dreams, which was kind of interesting. And then last night I had a dream that we were at the ultrasound and I saw the heartbeat, and it was really strong and it was pumping really hard, and it was just like this stable, just this strong pulse, you know? So yeah, we're looking forward to the ultrasound definitely to get some confirmation about this little one inside of me, and it will be nice just to get on to the next step. So we'll have the dating ultrasound, I'll have my first appointment with my midwife a couple weeks from now, and yeah, just enjoying the progression of this, feeling okay at the moment. Yeah, so that's it for now. Any new moms out there, congratulations. I did get a couple people that reached out to me privately and said that they were pregnant, and I'm so excited to know so many women who are venturing into this journey with me, and so I'm delighted to be able to walk this with others and to share the insights as we go. So congratulations, mama. And yeah, that's it for this week, I suppose. I'll see you next week for the 9th week update. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.